So, good evening and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. With me tonight is Steph Sale. Hopefully, Greg will be joining us a little bit later on. His girl is playing this evening. A bit of rugby league, good on her. But yeah, hopefully he'll be with us a bit later on. Good evening, Steph. How are you?
Good evening. Enjoying the sunshine in Costa del Leith today?
Absolutely, it's a bit warm, mate. It's a bit warm, and hopefully the temperature is going to rise during the show. Plenty to discuss, especially after that debacle. I only got through 30 minutes of that drivel last night. No wonder rugby league is the greatest sport on earth. Can't even watch England, mate.
No, it was. I think the less said about that, the better.
Absolutely. It makes me wonder why we actually delayed for 24 hours. But anyway, that's another story. But we didn't want to compete with it. We wanted to give people the option. So there you jolly well go. Right, lots to get through tonight. As always, Super League Raw does it first. We do it better tonight. We will be announcing the Super League Raw Team of June. That's right. Of course, all the fixtures for June now over and done with. So we will be telling you who got in our Team of the Month a little bit later on. But first things first, where should we start? Let's start there. The Challenge Cup announcement. As it said a moment ago, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Whatever platform you're watching it on now, make sure you share us. Make sure you comment. We'll be giving you shout-outs throughout the show. That's your job every week. Don't let us down. Make sure that everybody knows that you're watching Super League Raw Weekly. But yeah, Challenge Cup announcement, Steph. This came out a little bit, this week in terms of the Challenge Cup and how it's going to look from next season. Let's quickly go through it. Round one, it will begin with 10 national conference teams, 22 community clubs. Then in round two, also in January, the Betfred Championship join it, as does the Betfred League One. And then round three, a change this year. The Super League clubs will enter and will play away from home in round number three. That's an interesting one. Then it's the last 16 quarterfinals, semi-finals. And of course, announced already, the Challenge Cup final will take place on the 7th of June. That's a positive. It's staying at the same weekend for 2 years running. That's always a positive there. Semi-finals will be played 10th and 11th. And, remarkably for the Rugby Football League, as it says there, book now for your final tickets. They're up and running, and they start from as little as £15 for adults, £7.50 for under 16s, with 25% off for early bird tickets. Outstanding. It also says there that round one, the draw will take place in December, then Monday the 13th of January, rounds 2 and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 conducted following the competition's previous rounds. So, Steph, I'm sure you've had a chance to have a quick look at that. What are your thoughts in terms of these changes for the Challenge Cup next year?
It's a bit difficult one this week because we try and be as positive as possible, about arting and promoting and stuff. The Challenge Cup for me 100% needed a revamp. I'm not sure this goes far enough to revamp it. And there's a couple of things that I think that they got right in terms of bringing the Super League sides in earlier. But making the Super League sides players away, I think that's a bit of a negative. I think the lower teams would rather go to, the Brick Stadium or, the Halliwell Jones than, playing up at Whitehaven in February. It's not going to be very appealing that for Warrington fans to travel to Whitehaven, knowing you're going to probably win by a good margin in them kind of conditions. And I don't think it's going to be good for the Super League players either, because obviously we all know how bad pitches are even in Super League at that time of year. Never mind some of the lower end clubs haven't got the budgets to spend on the pitches. So I'd like to have seen it being a bit more like with IMG and stuff, being a bit more thoughtful into it. Maybe explore groups or something like that rather than just bringing the Super League clubs in a bit earlier.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I mean, again, the Paul Rowley conversation looms in my head when I was speaking to Paul in terms of, you look at by bringing the Super League teams in earlier, there is potential that Super League standard teams might play amateur clubs, and there's a health and safety risk there, a big health and safety risk, and also health and safety risk to the Super League teams. They're going to be playing on poorer pitches, But I think the real danger for me is that Super League now, it's a long way detached from amateur rugby league. And, with the greatest respect to those amateur sides who, do a great job in the community and feed players into the Super League clubs long term, for an amateur side to go up against a fully, and not that, let's put a caveat in, I don't think it will be a full Super League team. I think there'll be a lot of resting going on. But you get my point. I think there is that little bit of a danger here, isn't there?
Yeah, but they still got, even like if you take Warrington as the example, it's going to be the full-time lads that are in the squad, so they still, from a strength and conditioning point of view, they're still going to be a lot more advanced than the amateur sides, aren't they? So yeah, I get that. My concern is I think they're doing it for the right reasons, but it's just going to fall flat because, like I said, realistically, who's going to go from Hull to Oldham? It's just not going to happen. And
Yeah.
they're better off Oldham going to Hull and making them play at the Super League grounds, and then at least they've got a chance of making somebody out of it.
Yeah, it is an odd one, and it will run and run. Let's say a few hellos. Greg Roach is with us. He says, "Well, says hello to you, calling you a gentleman." He obviously doesn't know you that well, and he's also saying to me too. That's very kind of him. David Wakenshaw is back. Good evening to you, David. We've missed you, mate. Dawn Kirkby's there, announcing this week when let's have a look. What's Dawn saying there? Announcing this week when there are no club press conferences. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. That's a good shout, that, Dawn, to be fair to you. Bazza Kingston, big one here. He's wrote an essay that the Challenge Cup agreement, instead of the Rugby Football League putting their hands in their pockets to fund lower clubs, they're relying on travelling supporters to give the lower league clubs a cash injection. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think the problem with the Cup for me, and it'll rumble on and on and on, it's a start. I do have a concern for the health and safety of lower league players. I have to say that, and I agree with you. I think there might be the odd upset by doing that potentially, but yeah, I mean, I just don't see it. They'd get a far bigger crowd, wouldn't they, if they went to the Super League club and than they will on the home ground. It's really interesting. Looks like Dawn's actually watching us from a ship. She says she's shuffling the deck chairs on the ship. Or is that just shuffling the deck chairs in the Rugby Football League? Anyway, only Dawn knows. She's obviously, hopefully, she's wearing a Rugby League merchandise that she got courtesy of Super League Raw from the quiz. That landed safe and well. Right, let's get into some other stuff. Like I say, if you're just joining us, like, comment, and subscribe. Let everybody know that you're watching Super League Raw weekly. Plenty to get through tonight. If you've just joined us, yes, we are going to be doing the Team of the Month, Coach of the Month, and Player of the Month. It's that time. Yet again, all the June fixtures have indeed finished. Right, let's move on to this. The ins and the outs continue. More new faces for 2025. Let's start with Catalan Dragons. Nick Kotrick has signed for the Catalan Dragons for 2025. Canberra Raiders player, 149 appearances in the NRL. That's not to be sniffed at. 63 tries. This season, he's played 8 times and scored 4 tries. He's had 30 tackle busts in those 8 games, which is an impressive stat. 4 clean breaks. He's got a tackle efficiency as a winger of 83.3%. That's not to be sniffed at either. He has represented Australia and New South Wales, albeit on limited occasions. Needless to say, this perhaps, obviously, Tommy Makinson has come in, reinforcing those outside back positions, Steph. Normally NRL players with that much experience, and especially with a strike rate like that, do well in Super League.
Yeah, your 3/4 and your wingers normally tend to do pretty well, and obviously it's a great move for Catalan losing Davis and Johnson. Now they're going to replace that with him and Makinson. So they obviously feel that they need to spend a quota spot in that area. So it's an important one for them. But like you say, he's got a great experience in the NRL, and I'm sure he'll do really well for Catalan. And the style of rugby they play, they like to feed the wingers. So.
Happy days. Bazza Kingston, Hull KR fan. This is what Baz got to say. Yes, Iribe Duro has signed for KR for next season. Iribe is he's like Gareth O'Brien in the fact he's like a monopoly board of rugby league. He has got around for his young age. It's got to be said. But yeah, do you know what? He's one of those, isn't he? He's floated around a lot, this kid. I think he needs to settle somewhere, and he needs a coach that believes in him. And what we've seen with Willie Peters, I mean, Jack Broadbent, perfect case in point. If you look at Jack Broadbent as an argument, if Willie Peters is signing Iribe Duro, we see something in him, and I've got a lot of faith in Willie Peters. I think he'll be good for Iribe, I have to say.
Yeah, 100%. And we've seen those style of players have developed well under Peters, haven't they? He's got form for it. So, like I say, if anybody's going to get the best out of it, there's only a few coaches probably in Super League, and Willie Peters one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening to Callum Calvary. He's joining us as well. Joe Del Green is with us as well. Good evening to you, Joe. Super League Raw members. More on that a little bit later on. Right, okay. Try and keep it brief, Steph, and stop smiling when I tell this one. David Armstrong. Finally, this has been rumoured for weeks, if not months now, that David Armstrong potentially on his way to the Lee Leopards. Full back by trade. He's described as talented and quick. Natural outside back. Like I say, does play full back predominantly, and maybe the long-term solution at fullback for the Leopards. Only 23. He is revered, actually. A couple of other NRL clubs were sniffing around him for 2025, but Leave managed to get this one over the line. Played predominantly in the Queensland Cup, but he's got a tremendous try-scoring record in that. Over 2 seasons, he scored 18 tries in 23 games. Pace to burn, this lad. Good signing, Steph. Good signing.
Yeah, I've been, like I say, it's been rumoured for a while now, but I've been holding off because there's all sorts of things that can happen with your overseas players in terms of visas and things changing. And even going back 3-4 weeks ago, it was rumoured he'd re-signed with Newcastle. So it kind of, put a dampener on it. But that's a prime example of things change very, very quickly. But no, he's a lot of people, especially the Super League fans, if they don't watch the NRL, specifically this season, would not have a clue who this guy is. I urge you to go and watch his highlights on YouTube. And even if you just watch, if you watch one game, watch the Magic round against, is it the Dolphins, was it? Or one of those anyway, one of the Queensland sides, where he came in to replace the injured Ponga, who's obviously a world-class fullback, and scored a hat-trick. So he's got the potential to light up Super League, this lad. I think he could be another, what's he called at Wigan? Field. Jai Field. He's very similar to Jai Field in the way he plays.
Yeah, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing him. Obviously, always look forward. We'll be doing, as usual, at the start of next season, a full breakdown of the ins and outs. So we'll go slow. We've still got 2024 to do yet. Bazza Kingston, no, same things looking up for the Leopards because, of course, Penne had a really good debut. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure nowhere near where he's going to get to, but if that's where he starts, you can only imagine where Penne is going to finish. I'll tell you what is really interesting, mate. And it's been announced, it's been rumoured for a long, long time. Cameron Scott has now been announced at Wakefield Trinity. I think this, of all of the signings that Hull FC have been making, I mean, for example, Amir Burra this week has ben signed by Hull FC. Denis Balfour still off contract at the end of the season. I mean, I'm sorry, and I have to question here. Who would you rather have currently? And that's, I don't know, I think Burra's a tidy player, don't get me wrong, I do. But Balfour is really coming to the fore and needs more game time for me. But yeah, to release a player like Cam Scott, when you're bringing in, let's be fair, players who twilight the career, some of the lads that you're sending over there, Steph, I find this odd because I think Cam Scott is perhaps one of the top 5 players this season. It's a position that I don't see them keeping Tumavari in the centre. Scott can play second row or centre. I mean, first of all, we'll do Wakey in a minute in terms of their acquisition of him. But All FC, can you understand this? What's going on at FC? Yeah,
it's bizarre because some of the players they've got have been pretty decent signings, I think, but it's a bit like it screams to me of like a side that's just come up from Super League. And it's like desperation recruiting in some area, grabbing what you can, kind of thing. So there is some strange one, and it's like they feel like like with the Asiata and the Hardacre rumoured, and people like that. It's kind of like they're just trying to steady the ship, kind of thing, which I can kind of understand. But I don't know. Maybe it's probably one to throw out to the FC fans in terms of Callum and those guys, what they think of it.
I think it's bonkers. I think Cam Scott's. You don't allow a Cam Scott to go.
No, these are the ones that you want to retain 100%.
You don't do that,
and especially when you're losing him to a club that's not even got into the league yet.
I'm making waves. We're not going to go to Origin because I'm very respectful of the fact that some people who are watching this might not have watched Origin yet. So I'm not going to talk about the game. I'm not going to talk about the score. But what we will talk about, we'll come back to Wake in a minute in terms of Scott. The production, ladies and gentlemen, go and watch the production of that Origin today. I mean, dare I say it, it's better than Premier League football in this country. It was absolutely off the chart. Very American, wasn't it? The way they went at this moment.
It very much is, and I don't know if you've been to Australia, but it's like a mix between England and Australia. England, America, Australia. Even down to like the big cans of Pepsi and stuff, and you can see where they get the production from, and it is very NFL like. But it was, 90 odd thousand at the MCG. That's a cathedral of sport anyway, the MCG. And to see it at night time, with all the lasers and all that kind of thing, it's and given that's not in either territory, it was fantastic to see so many fans there.
Spot on, 90,000 of them. Like I say, we'll go back to Wakey, but Greg Roach quite rightly saying good evening, Master Roach. Again, Will Price making his debut for the Newcastle Knights this coming Saturday. I think we'll all be watching that one. We wish Will well in that one. And as you can see, the chat's gone mad. It would appear that they have finally put pen to paper for Denis Balmforth, and they needed to do that because I do think he'd have been poached pretty quickly. Let's go back to Wakey, though. Some brilliant signings. I mean, McMeekin, Johnston, now they've got Cam Scott. They've already got, Leno, they've got Gale, the likes. They've given Jowett, who I thought was really good from last year in the relegation season. I really like Max Jowett at full-back. I think he's a decent player. They're going to come back, and they're going to come back strong. And I don't think they're finished yet in terms of acquisitions. You cannot fault the players that... and again, look at the contrast between what Hull FC are picking up and what Wakefield are picking up. Mike McMeekin, Tom Johnston, now Cam Scott. At the moment, I've been more impressed with the Wakey signings for next year than the FC ones.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. It's still early days, and there's a lot still to be announced. I think as we come towards the end of the season. Wakefield are doing a great job. Not only on the recruitment side, but also for Championship, the crowds they get in, because they're a winning side again now, the off-field marketing they're doing, the new owner that's come in, the new stand, there's a lot of things that are looking really positive for Wakefield. And that's what you want. They've reacted in the best possible way, Wakefield, to being relegated.
Yeah, I agree. AD West saying that Wakey still have got to get promoted. If they don't get promoted, it would be an absolute shocker. I can't see that happening, I have to be honest.
They're getting on points, don't they, anyway, on IMG points?
Well, that's it, yeah. Yeah, it's not about...
London aren't going to... Even if they win it,
worst case scenario, they take over from Cass. Sorry, Cass fans, but that's the reality. I think...
London are 24th, aren't they, on the IMG scale?
Well, London have gone anyway, haven't they? But there's talk over, and again, there's talk over Toulouse, isn't there? Just very briefly on the London one, when you consider that London attracting 5,000 fans plus at the moment, you look at the attendances at Huddersfield, you look at the attendances at Salford. Our IMG and how the Rugby Football League can't look at that and go, hang on a minute. London are a team that have been up, down like a yo-yo. Have never really had a solid presence. All of a sudden, they're getting 5, and then they're going up against seasoned Super League teams like Huddersfield and Salford and drawing better crowds. It's an interesting one. I think that argument will intensify the closer to the end of the season that we get to. Wouldn't you? Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely, and especially if they pick a couple more wins up as well. But I think the more impressive thing for London is that they're in London, and it's they're not getting. Whereas we're bolstered here by, Warrington coming to league, puts 2,000 on our attendance. They're not getting that. It's predominantly the London fans as well, which is very, very encouraging.
Spot on, mate. Spot on. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, like, comment, and subscribe. Make us, copy us in on the chat. Let us see you doing it. We'll give you a shout out on that one. Like I say, a few gremlins in our system for some reason tonight, but bear with us. Right, okay. Where are we going to go to next? We've done the ins and outs. Let's just very, very quickly, briefly, just confirm the last week's results. Of course, these are well known to everybody. Of course, they are. But let's just quickly go back through them again. As you can see there, you've got Tigers, brilliant game that with the Robins. Warriors beating the Broncos comfortably. Rhinos 18-10. Hull FC 18-24 with the wire. Dragons 22-18. Good game that. Giants came back and give it a good go. And the Red Devils 20. St Helens 18. We talked about these games at length, Steph, in the Final Whistle. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not listened to the Final Whistle podcast, download it tomorrow on the way to work. You'll listen to what we had to say about round number 15. For me, the highlight, clearly Headingley. Second highlight, Jack Ferrimond at Wigan. And, I would also say really pleasing to see Castleford starting to compete Those are my 3 highlights. What are your 3 highlights from last week? On the spot there, Stefano. What would your 3 be?
Yeah, no, I agree with Farriman. You know, he's another off the Wigan conveyor belt that's going to be a superstar. I'm going to put it out there now straight away. You know, he's a quality player. I think Huddersfield coming back against Catalan was very impressive. The game was poor, but you know, the one thing that you can't knock them for is that they showed character to come back. They could have very easily rolled over and had the bellies tickled there, you know, and they didn't. So fair play to them for that. But I agree with you on Cass as well. You know, that I don't think anybody, you know, would have predicted that scoreline. And that was a really good game to watch. There was plenty of errors in it and stuff again, but that pitch is a very equalising factor.
Yeah. Where's Edward Woodward when you need him? There's one for the dads. There's one for the dads. Good old Edward. As Greg Roach says there, Salford versus Saints, entertaining game. Absolutely, I could understand that being in anybody's top 3 last week. Right, let's get into the top performers, and you'll see just why we're saying that this kid Farriman is going to be one hell of a player. Here's the top performers from round 15.
Here are your top performers from round number 15 of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorers this week, each with 2, was Jack Farriman for the Wigan Warriors, Brodie Croft, Matt Duffy, Dion Cross and Jake Wardle. The most try assists came from the returning Jordan Abdul of the Catalan Dragons with 3. Whilst the top meter maker once again was Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves with 216. Zach Hardiker got 210, Brodie Croft 206 and 194 for Carlos Tomavari. The most tackle busts came from Ryan Hall of the Robins with 15, Matt Duffy got 12, George Delaney 10 and Josh Fulis 10. The most clean breaks, each with 3, were Brodie Croft, Matt Duffy and Jack Farriman. Whilst the most offloads came from Herman SASA of Hull FC with 6, Jack Wellesby got 4. The top hard meter maker in Super League, you've got to be a prop forward. Second row release forward in this one was Zane Musgrove of the Warrington Wolves with 145. Kalepi Tangangoa got 135. Herman SASA 131 and Mikola Gillespie 130. The top tackler in Super League was Frankie Holton of Lee Leopards with 50. Luke Yates got 48, Jared O'Connor 44 and Ellie Elzakeem 43. And the top goal kicker, 6 from 6, Jack Farriman of the Wigan Warriors, Josh Fulis, got 4 from 4. These were your top performers from round number 15.
Exceptional performances there in round number 15. Great to see so many different shirts as well. And Farriman, like I say, very much in the hunt on there. There's the league table for you, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, the Warriors now top with a game in hand, 2 points clear of the Saints, who fell to Salford. A brilliant performance. That the final try of Chris Hankinson, another wow moment. Somebody in the chat, I think it was Dawn, saying the Duffy one highs up rugby league, his last one. Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. Sorry, it's Joe Dalgreen who said it. Duffy's winner for wire. Yeah, some wonderful tries at the weekend. The Robins now really looking good in third. Very impressed with the Robins this season. The Red Devils cemented in 5th there, looking really good at this time. Still a lot of rugby to be played. I noticed in League Express, Steph, there was a lot of people counting out the Lee Leopards now, saying that it's a bridge too far. Would you agree with that? Or do you think your boys could actually still, if with a good win behind them, especially in July, you know, if they have a good July, they could get back into the mix?
You never say never, and you know, as any fan of any team, you've always got to keep the faith. I think the Leeds game was a 4-pointer. I think we needed to win that to keep in touch. We're 7 points off now, I think, with a game in hand against Wigan. So realistically, we're going to be 7 points off. So we're given only 13 games left for us. 12 games left after that. I think it's probably a bridge too far for us now. But we want to finish strong, and you never know. The Dragons aren't setting the world on fire by any means.
No.
You know, Leeds have been up and down. Giants, obviously, we know what they've been like. So, but I just think for us to, we'd have to go on some tremendous run, and we've got to play Wigan twice. We've got to play Saints. We've got to play Warrington. So it's not, Hull KR again. So you'd think we're going to lose more than 4 of those games.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really difficult looking set of fixtures for Lee in July. They start off with Wigan away, then it's Huddersfield at home and London at home. You'd expect they have to win those, and then it's Saints at home. So, like I say, two really tough fixtures there, Wigan and Saints in there. And I said to Steph earlier in the week off air, I think they have to win one of them. If they lose both to Saints and to Wigan, I think at that point it's problems. But I think if they pick up 2 points out of one of those and they do a job on Huddersfield and London, then at the start of August, you never say never.
Yeah, things can change, and that's what I say. Never say never. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that we're going to have an off day and we have a blinder. You know, especially with the new players coming in, and also the other factor is we've got Penne now, we've got Asiata who's hopefully back for Wigan, and Mulhern who's hopefully back for Wigan. So they're three massive players that are going to come in for us towards the back end of the season.
Spot on. Let's show some love to some other teams. Huddersfield Giants, a big month for them as well. Of course, they're still in and around. What I'll do while I'm doing this, I'll just put the league table back on just so you can see. We've got a bit of time tonight because, of course, there's no prequel to the round 16. That'll come next week. Huddersfield Giants in the month of July. They go to Warrington. Then they go to Lee. Then it's Salford at home and then Leeds at home. These are, I mean, Warrington, still for me, Warrington fans can't take it for granted, the playoffs. I think they need to have a good, solid couple of months, really, Warrington. But a really important win for them at Hull FC. Leopards are going to be fighting for the lives. Salford are just outstanding at the moment. You've got to give them the due. And then Leeds are going to be battling as well, as you can see there. This is a massive month for Huddersfield with those fixtures. And again, you look at that, Huddersfield could really make a push for the 6 if they had a really good July, based on the fact they're going up against Salford, Lee and Leeds, who are in and around those positions.
Yeah, I think out of Dragons, Rhinos, Giants, and the Leopards, one of those teams needs to go on one hell of a run to make that 6th spot. I think that's the only one now where people can agree. I don't see anybody in the top 5 slipping out. Is probably what I'm saying.
Well, you've got more. We'll wait and see on that one. Leeds Rhinos. Let's take a look at them. London Broncos at home. That's a good fixture for them when they come back. Then it's Warrington away. Then KR at home. Then Salford away. So again, tricky fixtures there for Leeds. Yes, the London one, they should come through that probably unscathed. But then they've got 3 tough games, 2 of them on the road for them. And then finally, the Salford Red Devils. I mean, again, tasty fixtures for them. Catalan in and around them. They could pull away from Catalan when they get back. They go into Catalan away. They win that. They're looking in a really good spot then against the Dragons in terms of league position. They then go up against Huddersfield Giants, then the Tigers, then the Rhinos. That one against the Rhinos is actually on August the 3rd. It's not quite in July. But that one against the Rhinos as well, that will be a big game by the time we get there, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, so I think I might be a Salford fan for the next month based on those fixtures.
Your allegiance will change like the weather, depending on results, mate.
Absolutely. But you wouldn't back against Salford winning all 4 of those.
You wouldn't. Right, we've got loads to get through, folks. Let's get into it. Right, first of all, let's just check in on the prediction lead. As you can see, a couple of moves there. Joel still leading on 231. We wish him well. We hope you're watching, big fella. As you can see, I've took over from Gary Schofield by a point, and Greg still leads Steph by a point. So the beer tokens for the grand final. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes out top in that lot. But well done to Joel. He stays where he stays. Good effort. In terms of the fantasy league, Mark Allen is the non-member. He's the one who's currently leading the fantasy league. He's on 10,320 points now, 713 last week on the week. The highest performer last week, a brilliant performance from a Rhinos fan, John Williams, 817 points on the week. That's a good effort, that. And Ryan Birch continues to lead the members with 10,124 points. He got 758 on the week last week. So well done to Ryan. That is how that stands. Right, we put this out there on our Facebook page. The contenders for Coach of the Month for the month of June. Matt Pete, Paul Rowley and Willie Peters. As you know, we don't count the Challenge Cup on Super League Raw for these. It's a level playing field. That's what we do. Clearly, if we were counting the Challenge Cup, all rewards would probably go to Matt Pete, but he's got the reward in that he holds the trophy, and I don't think he's going to mind one way or the other, but he's still in contention. Here he is. As you can see, all 3 of these coaches won all 3 games in the month of June. Steph, based on that graphic, who would get your vote?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely the best 3 coaches at the moment in Super League. For for me. I would edge on Mr. Rowley, just because if you look at the people who they've beat, Hull KR there is us, Huddersfield and Castleford all in the bottom 6. And again, Wigan, 2 teams in the bottom 6 and a very good win at Warrington. But Salford there have taken points off Saints and Warrington, who are top 6 sides. So I think just the way he's gone playing, the points for as well there, 79 points for. They're playing a very good brand of rugby. So I'd go my mate, Mr. Rowley.
Yeah, and to be fair, over in the chat, everybody is going Paul Rowley. It's hard, really, to look past him. And I think the fact that, the Saints game for me clinched it. I mean, that's what's clinched it. So, yeah, Paul Rowley is the Super League Raw, official Super League Raw coach of the month for June. I don't think anybody can argue with that. Many, many congratulations to Paul. Fully deserved. Continues to defy all logic. Looks like he might miss out as well on the Leeds job, which I find unbelievable, quite frankly. It's a bad day for British coaches because, he's been there, he's done it, he's got the T-shirt. What more can he do at Salford? If that is the case, I do feel for Paul because I think he deserved a crack at that one, if I'm being honest.
I think he did deserve a crack at it, but like I've said a few times now, I did fear that the job was potentially too big for him. And I know you'll never know that until you go and have a crack at it. But when he's doing such a good job at Salford, it would have been a shame for the Salford fans as well because, it's all right when you're low down, you've got no chance. But at the moment, they're in form where they could potentially make the grand final again. And they've done that before, so there's nothing to say they couldn't do it again this year.
Okay, well done. Right, let's get into it now. It's now time to announce the team of the month for June. Now, let's get into some detail here, folks. I'll do this every time we do Team of the Week, so let's play the game. You have to have played all 3 games. That's the caveat. If you've not played all 3 games in the month, we don't allow you to be in the Team of the Month for the pure reason this is about consistency. Consistency across the month. That's what we look at. So this team, when this was put together, do you know what? I'm proud of what we do at Super League Raw because when you see this month's team of the month, it's going to be hard to disagree with it. And there'll be some names on this where you're thinking, actually, yeah, they deserve to be in the team of the month. Now, before we get to that, these were the nominees for Player of the Month officially by Super League. Herman SA, Mark Sneed, Liam Marshall, Nene McDonald, Ryan Hall, and Brodie Croft. Spoiler alert, one of them ain't in it. The question is, which one of them isn't in it? Ladies and gentlemen, here comes your Team of the Month for June. So there it is, the team of the month for June. And like I say, that might surprise many. People at Warrington say, where's Matt Duffy? He didn't play all 3 games. He didn't play Wigan before the Challenge Cup. So that's, if he had, perhaps he would because his stats in the other 2 games outstanding. But Logan Moore, what an incredible June this kid has had. Scored a try, 2 assists. He's only made 1 error. I mean, for a lad of that age, under that much pressure at a club not playing well, so we've only made 1 error in 3 games. Quite remarkable. 15 tackles, 2 clean breaks, 44 carries, 270 metres, and averages 6.1 as an average. The 2 wingers, Liam Marshall and Dion Cross. Nobody, I think, will be surprised to see Marshall 4 tries, head of the try-scoring charts, doing what Marshall does. He's averaging 9.4 metres a carry as well. Really good stuff. But Dion Cross, what a month Dion Cross has had. 5 tries in the month of June from Dion Cross. Ryan Hall, come on, Super League. Yes, okay, he got the record. But that's a prize of its own. You don't put him in a team of the month because he scored 2 tries to get the all-time try-scoring record. You put people in based on what they've produced. Dion Cross has been exceptional for the Salford Red Devils. 5 tries, 12 tackles, 2 clean breaks, 48 carries for 410 metres, 8.5 a carry. Donald and Hickey, nobody will be surprised at that. Brodie Croft, not just for his heroics on Friday night, across the month, 3 tries, 2 assists, 6 tackles, 4 clean breaks, 10 attacking kicks, 17 kicks in general play, 57 carries for 413 metres. That's 7.2 average for a standoff. That is some going from Brodie Croft in those 3 games. Sneed again, nobody will be surprised at that. Herman SA. This is his 3rd month in a row, ladies and gentlemen. 3 months running, April, May, and June. Herman SA has been in Team of the Month. He is absolutely, dare I say it, Tom Amone-esque this season. He really, really is. 1 try, 87 tackles in D, 18 tackles, 1 clean break, 11 offloads, 56 carries for 415 metres. Outstanding. And Mikołaj Jalecki, we gave him some pelters early in the season. He's coming back to his best. 82 tackles, 9 tackles, 1 clean break, 2 offloads, 45 carries for 448 metres. He's averaging just short of 10 metres a carry. Second row, Sione Matautia. Brilliant. So versatile, so important to Saints. He's having a really good season. He gets in the second row. Reece Martin as well. And then Elliot Minchella, who again has had a fantastic June. On the bench, Mark Percival, he was in Team of the Month last month. Jez Litton, Tom Amone was in the starting 13 last month. He's on the bench this month. Aledzki last month was on the bench. He's in the team this month. A bit of consistency between those two. And James Bell of St. Helens gets the number 17 shirt. Steph, over to you. Your thoughts on the Super League Raw Team of the Month?
Yeah, I think, like I said, there's a few, probably not, popular players that are in there. Like your Dion Cross, people probably wouldn't have picked him out, but he has had a fantastic month. Again with Moy as well, because he's a All-FC player and they've not been winning. People won't consider him. My daughter's put in the chat there, where's Moylan? Well, I think Moylan's a bit unlucky, actually, not to be in the team, because I think he's been outstanding for Lee. But I can see why we've gone for Moy, because I think someone put in the chat as well, Warrington were scared to death of him in that game, and they were. He had a really, really good game against Warrington. And what can you say about SASA? I'm just surprised a couple of other clubs aren't looking at him. Whether he's is he contracted for next season?
Contracted next year, yeah.
But James Bell as well. I think he's unlucky. Minchella's been outstanding, hasn't he, at loose forward, and rightly getting his call up to the England squad this week, which is great for him, because I know how much he wanted that. And Jez Litton as well. He's such a good player for OKR. And good to see Mark Percival making the interchange bench as well for Saints.
Absolutely. Outstanding stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, at the end of the show, we will be announcing the Player of the Month for June. It's going to be one of those 1 to 13, not the bench, 1 to 13. That's where the Player of the Month will come from. Don't put it in the chat just yet. We'll give you a reminder, but have a think about that, and we'll get your votes a little bit later in the show as to who you would have as your Player of the Month for June. Like I say, don't put it in the chat just yet. Wait a few moments. Clearly, Alex has got his earbuds in. He's already done it. But anyway, that's by the by. Bazza, no, Kalepi Tangano's has been good, but he's not been as good as Sione Matautia or Reece Martin, my friend. He really, really hasn't. Right. Like I say, really proud of that. And, hey, no Warrington players in it. Who'd have thought, Hey, no bias here. I call it straight. I say this all the time. All of this has been verified, been through the lot. And let me tell you, I will stand by that team every day of the week. So yeah, later on in the show, we will announce who is going to get the accolade that is the Player of the Month. And what we'll do is we'll wait until we announce that before we do the drop in to the Albert Goldthorpe, the Man of Steel, and the Super League Raw Trophy, because again, I've included the points. I'll talk more about that when we get to that part of the show. Right, let's just have a quick chat about this. Of course, for me, one of the most farcical international games ever. If you weren't a rugby league fan, you probably wouldn't know that England are playing this weekend. It has been probably one of the most poorly promoted international games ever. I don't expect it to be a great game. I really don't. I think we'll take to France. I really do. But, bottom line is, again, the amount of time we hear people talk about we need to grow international rugby league, and then we put it behind a paywall of Super League Plus. It doesn't get shown on terrestrial TV. Steph, massive own goal. We'll get to the squad in a minute. But can you believe what's going on? with regards to this international fixture?
No, it's if we want to grow our international game, it's got to be on terrestrial TV. I'm assuming it's on Sky Sports, is it?
No.
It's not even on Sky Sports.
It's on Sky, Super League Plus. Unless I'm wrong, I have not seen this listed on terrestrial or on Sky. It's on Super League Plus. That's it.
Well, that's just. I thought it was on Sky Sports. I just assumed it was on Sky Sports. That's ridiculous. Because if they've got the cameras there, it should be on terrestrial TV. Really, it should be a BBC Two, BBC One. But it obviously shows what they think of it. If that's the case, isn't it? So
well, normally it is the Beeb, isn't it, that takes international rugby league. But of course, they're busy at the moment with the Euros. I mean, a really poor brand of sport. But anyway, that's. I mean, God, it's so boring. Honestly, I don't know how people can sit through 90 minutes of that absolute dross. I mean, not just England, all of it. I mean, it says there, Craig Force says they need to do England game on Super League Plus as a freebie. Good to see you, Craig, another Super League Raw member. I agree, mate. At the very least, it'd get people to download the app. So, you know what I mean, mate? That's called marketing, Craig. It's called marketing. It's a good shout, mate. Unfortunately, I don't think many people in the Rugby Football League watch us. We talk too much common sense. Anyway, let's get into the squad. A few omissions. I mean, I can only guess here that some players have been pulled out. I mean, the glaringly obvious one's Junior Nsemba. He's not there. And, there's more than just Nsemba that's missing from this list. It is what it is. It's a pretty poor show, isn't it? Especially youth. When youth isn't there. I mean, no Matty Ashton, which is interesting, considering how well he did in the Tongan series. But hey, it is what it is. Looking down the list, delighted for Elliot Minchella, delighted for him, delighted for Matty Nick as well, I have to say. I think Matty Nicholson's been really good in defence for Warrington. Ben Curry's been decent in loose. I'd expect Minchella, though, to take that slot. Jez Litton, pleased to see him. I thought James McDonald at the weekend played really well. We're going to take a look at George Delaney in an international shirt. The ones, I mean, pretty much, and Sam Wood as well. I mean, you look down that list, and as much as a lot of these players will be unlikely to feature come the winter months when Samoa come to town, Sam Wood is an example. So it's great to see that Sam Wood is going to get an opportunity on the international stage. But once you start to factor in Farnworth and company, it's very unlikely he'll feature come the business end. I think this particular summer, it'd probably be too early for George Delaney as well. James McDonald, I wouldn't have thought he'd get a sniff come winter either. But it's going to be interesting to see these lads in the same spirit as Ashton Walker last year against France, and of course Ashton what he did against Tonga. A couple of these lads could potentially, Steph, give themselves half a chance of making Sean Wayne make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for that. I mean, it's probably a good thing to use this game as that. It's a chance for them to experience playing for the country, which they'll be very, very proud of. We saw what it meant to Mikey Lewis last year, and I'm sure they'll be just as proud to be pulling on the shirt this year. But yeah, it's not a bad side. But like you said, when you throw in the ones that are over in Australia as well, there's quite a few that probably aren't going to get a look in against Samoa. But it's good experience, and I suppose that's what this game's for, isn't it? It's to try and get them into that environment and culture as well of the squad.
Call me selfish. I think this game's designed to give me a rest, quite frankly. It's going to be what it's going to be at the end of the day. It's going to be what it's going to be. Very seldom do we get a classic when it's England against France. Normally it's a cricket score. Mike Irving in the chat saying he thinks it's free on Super League Plus. Again, if it is, it's the most poorly advertised thing ever, because I haven't seen that, Mike. And I've been looking, believe you me, I've been looking really, really poor showing from the Rugby Football League, from Sky, from the BBC. How on earth are we ever going to grow International Rugby League if it's not even shown? I mean, let's be fair. Football always shown the England games. England Rugby Union always shown on TV. And here's Rugby League not on the telly. It's scandalous. It's absolutely scandalous. No other word for it. Right. Okay. Now then, just something a little bit different. So you might be thinking, well, the international's going to be a bit poor. There's no rugby league. Yeah, there is. ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, why don't you take the opportunity to go and watch a reserve fixture? We have been waxing lyrical this season about Logan Moy, Yamila Hanley, Deneve Bamforth, Kai Taylor-Ray, Aaron Lindop, Jack Farrimond, Zach Eckersley, Noah Stevens. The list goes. Alfie Edgill, Ned McCormack. The list is going on and on and on here. I could go around all the clubs. This is where they ply their trade week in, week out. And the chances are, if you're a season ticket holder, you get into these games for free. If you don't get in for free, it probably only costs you a couple of quid. And you can go and watch 80 minutes of rugby league. Tomorrow's talent today. That's what it is. Tomorrow's talent today. These are the fixtures. The Giants take on the Warriors. The Wolves go up against the Saints. Tigers, Bulls, Trinity Broncos, Hull FC Leopards. Go to the Rugby Football League website. Go to the matches. Go and see where they're being played. Normally they're about midday kickoffs. Get yourself down to a reserve game of rugby league. Go and see your team's up-and-coming talented players just put on a spectacle for you. There's nothing better than reserve rugby league, seeing these kids play and seeing and what it will do, it'll give you a bit of authority in our chat every week to start telling us about the great players that you have seen and who you believe has got Super League pedigree in the future, the same way we have been over certain players this year. Steph, of course, the Leopards, they go to All FC. It's true, isn't it? If you're, go and watch the reserve games this week. It's a great opportunity to go and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, there's some. This is where the future is coming from, and I've watched a few reserves games. There's some absolutely amazing rugby played, and some real good talent. So, and also the championship as well. Go and support one of your local championship clubs. Because there's a lot of the players in those teams, dual registered. So the ones that are probably more likely to burst into Super League in the next year will be dual registered with one of the championship clubs as well. So that's looking like a pretty decent comp this year as well. Widnes won Wakefield very, very close last week. So there's still some good rugby in that division as well. I have been reliably informed it is free to air on Super League Plus, the international.
Fantastic. Well, that's good to hear. I haven't seen that, but again, you've had to go and look for it, mate. I've not seen that advertised absolutely anywhere.
The England Rugby League tweeted it a day ago. But
where's the promotion?
Yeah,
not come up on my feed, and I follow him. It's just I'm just putting it out there. It's not a bit of a talk. Don't forget the women's game. The women's Super League is off for a week because, of course, the women's team are going over to play France as well. So again, you'd expect the women's team to go over there and do a job. But yeah, reserve grade rugby. Go and have a look at it this weekend. What have you got to lose?
It would have been a good trip, that as well. They should have done a supporters tour because you've got the women's international, you've got the men's international, and then I believe it's Featherstone and Toulouse as well straight after. So, and my feelings are on going over to the south of France. Toulouse is a great city. I've been there many times. That would have been a great little tour for people who can't afford to go to Australia watching. They could have a mini weekend over watching that while there's no other games on.
Absolutely. Right. Obviously, the members out there, you will know that you get a ticket to come to the quiz free every single month. You really do need to start taking up that opportunity, though, ladies and gentlemen. We announced yesterday across our social media platforms that the date is locked in for July. The 17th of July, 2024 will be the July quiz night. That is what is on way for you fine people out there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one not to be missed. It's the biggest prize that we have given away on a quiz to date. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 tickets to Magic Saturday. That's right, Hull FC London, Saints Wigan, Warrington Leeds. You could be joining Super League Raw at Magic Saturday on 17th of August at Ellen Road. It only costs, if you're a non-member, £5 to enter this quiz, and you could be walking away with 2 tickets to Magic Saturday. If you're a member, you don't have to do anything because your invitations will be on the way to you as per your membership. Steph, that is a prize not to be missed.
Yeah, brilliant prize, and it just goes to show how serious we take it. To give our supporters the best prizes possible. So Excuse me. I know Dawn's obviously probably nailed on for this one, having won 2 out of 3.
Well, she's in great form, and of course, Dawn got herself a merchandise bundle of England, a polo shirt, a baseball cap, and a scarf. She was absolutely delighted with that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the 17th of July, go and get your tickets now. They're only £5. That's all they are, and it's a multiple choice quiz. If you want to try before you buy or see before you buy, if you go over to our YouTube channel, we uploaded the June quiz in its entirety for you, so you can see what the format is, how it went, and the question is, would you have beaten Dawn Kirkby in June? Keep your own score yourself, and if you'd have beat Dawn in June, why wouldn't you invest £5? It's not even a latte, ladies and gentlemen. Invest £5 of your money, come along to the July quiz, and potentially walk away with 2 Magic Saturday tickets. And what a lineup of fixtures they are. Hull FC London, followed by Wigan Saints, and then Leeds Warrington. That's a great day of entertainment. And you'll be coming with the Super League Raw family, because we're trying to get ourselves all in the same stand so we can watch the games together. So the banter will be there. It'll be a community feel. That's what Super League Raw is all about. Do come and have a watch of these games with us. And what you might want to do, if you're tempted on that, because again, there's a quiz every month, there's prizes every month, you might want to go, well, why would I pay £5 for a quiz when I can get a 6 Again membership for £5? So I'll tell you what, whilst me and Steph just go and have a little bit of a comfort break before we do the end of the show, here's the Super League Raw membership. Take a look at this.
Are inviting you to become part of the fastest growing online community in Rugby League. Your contribution will enable us to continue to improve our current programmes and allow us to develop more so that you can enjoy Rugby League 7 days a week. Our 3 membership tiers provide everyone with an opportunity to create new friendships and experiences with like-minded Rugby League enthusiasts. 18th Man membership. You will be supporting the work we do and contribute to our ongoing development. You will be entered into every prize draw as well as our monthly online quizzes. You will also have the opportunity of winning a season ticket by entering a team into the Super League Raw Mini Fantasy League. And you will also get a car window sticker to show that you're a part of this community. 6 Again members. You will have increased entries into our prize draws and fantasy leagues. You will have increased shout-outs during Super League Raw every single week. You will have access to the Super League Raw WhatsApp group where you can talk with other members every single day. You will have 1 week advanced screening of our latest In Conversation With, and you will also have 3 invitations to the Final Whistle podcast recordings where you can have your say on the week's action. You will also be invited to a pre-game drink with Greg and I before your team's Warrington Wolves game at the Halliwell Jones. Team Talk membership. You get the maximum 3 entries into our prize draws and into our fantasy league. You will also have the opportunity to submit your question to the latest In Conversation guest, and you will be invited to every Final Whistle podcast where you will become a star of the show alongside the Super League Raw team. Membership start from as little as £2.99 per month, so why not substitute a latte for 7 days of rugby league analysis and entertainment? Don't hesitate. Visit Patreon now and become a part of the fastest growing universal rugby league community online.
So there you go. As you can see there, Dawn Kirkby loved her prizes from the quiz night. Dawn was absolutely overjoyed with her merchandise bundle. Like I say, it's there, it's coming. It's going to be on the 17th of July. 2 tickets up for grabs. We've already given Challenge Cup tickets away to our membership this year. There's more prizes, more tickets coming in the latter end of the season. But those tickets are on sale now. If you're watching on YouTube, just click into the description and the link is there. And if you're watching on Facebook, again, in the description, the link is there. Go and secure your tickets now. Go and watch the June quiz on YouTube. It's multiple choice, 1 in 5 chance of getting a question right every time. And like I say, play along with the June quiz. Would you have beaten Dawn? Big opportunity there for people to come and join it. And Craig Forth has said it's worth it, even just for the WhatsApp group. Great bunch of people on there. Craig is absolutely loving being a part of the Super League Raw membership. Guys, it's less than a latte a month. That's what it is. And you're going to build new friendships, more content. And even during the closed season, we're going to have loads of content on Rugby League that you can enjoy throughout October, November, and December and January to get you through those months in time for the new season. So loads still to come from Super League Raw. Nobody does it bigger than better than us. Make sure you get over to our Eventbrite page right now after the show, secure those tickets, and we will look forward to seeing you in July for that ticket, for that quiz. Just got to write it, but that's another story. Right, you know what? Not even done it yet. We've raced on. We've gone through a load of stuff. We haven't even done Team of the Week yet for round number 15. But hey, we're Super League Raw. We can do things out of kilter. It's just what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the Super League Raw Team of the Week for round number 15. Is proudly sponsored by the Good Estate Agent. Join the Rugby League community in trusting Stefan and his team when you are buying, letting, or selling property.
The Super League Raw Team of the Week for round number 15 with the good stage for 2024. Here we go again, and at fullback for the fourth time this season and the first time since round number 5 is Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves. A beautiful interchange with George Williams for try number 1, and Eyes Up Rugby for the crucial match-winning try gave the Wire a much-needed win at the MKM. At 2 for the second week in a row is Dion Cross of the Salford Red Devils. Speaking of Cross, that is exactly what Paul Wellens was at full time, and as for Curtis Simonon, he said Salford just hung in there, deluded more like. As Abba once said, Salford go, Dion, 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 keep on rocking till the night is gone. At 3 is Bonjour to Arthur Romano of the Catalan Dragons. A try at last for the Frenchman in a season where he's made the number 3 jersey his own at the Dragons. Didn't he play well? Oui. At 4 is once again Nene McDonald. This man does more cruising on a rugby league field than Jane does on the ocean. Elegance, style, charisma, pace, power, and an end product. What more do you want? At 5 is Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors, who now leads Adam Swift by 5 tries with 16. Marshall is on track to beat his personal record of 24 last term in Super League, and he's ensuring that Miske will be getting around in at the end of season 2. At 6 is Brodie Croft of the Leeds Rhinos, a career-defining performance by the Leeds standoff. It's fair to say that Croft harnessed the spirit of Burrow to deliver a champion effort on a night that meant so much to the Rhinos family. Quality! At 7 is the man Super League have been telling you all about this season. Jack Barryman is the real deal and will become a superstar in the years to come. His first try had shades of Gregory and Edwards, as Oliver once said. Please sir, can we have some more? At 8 is the resurgent Mikola Alecki of the Leeds Rhinos, back to version 2022. Alecki sent Amone packing earlier than expected at Headingley on Friday night. If you can perform against the pack to be fair from 2024, you can frighten anyone. Were you watching? John Wilkin. At 9 for the second week in a row is Denis Balmforth of Hull FC, off contract at the end of the season. If I were Myler, I'd be getting the pen truly inked up as soon as possible, as on this form there will be suitors aplenty around the league. Borough of Balmforth, you decide. At 10 is Herman SASA, also of Hull FC. This is his 4th appearance in 5 weeks, which tells you all you need to know about his level of consistency. For many prop forwards in the league, the closest they'll come to knocking down as many men as Herman will be playing Guess Who with the kids. Go on, Herman lad. At 11 is once more Dean Hadley of Hull KR. Whilst Tanya Noah takes the headlines, the third Mitchell brother just does his thing time and time again. To many, he's perhaps own brand, no frills. To us, he's the Jason Statham to Sly Stallone, but not quite as expendable. At 12 is Reece Martin of the Leeds Rhinos. He had another Scorsese of a game versus the Leopards. He didn't come up short, but added sheen and shine to the Rhinos' victory. And finally, at 13 is Elliot Minchella of Hull KR, rewarded with an England call-up, and rightly so, as Minchella is one of the most consistent loose forwards in Super League on both sides of the ball. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your team of the week for round number 15.
So there you go. Greg Roach is always enjoying Team of the Week. He likes a bit of Team of the Week. Does Greg, Billy? I know, mate, but you know, I'm not being funny. I can't do all these videos with a minute to go to the production, my friend. So you'll have to forgive me for the Deneve one, my friend. I'll try better for you next week. But there it is. There it is, Steph, the Team of the Week, and quite a few different coloured shirts there. Some are surprised, some maybe not surprised. What's your thoughts on Team of the Week for round 15?
Yeah, no, it's a real mixed bag, which again for the competition is a great thing, isn't it? And you know, if we were getting 6 or 7 of the same club in there, then it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? But no, there's some great. We've already talked about what a great season, more of a great month Cross has had. Great to see Minchella in there, fully deserving of his England cut all up, and I thought Brodie Croft against us was, he was definitely playing with the spirit of Rob Burrow behind him in that game. He was absolutely outstanding. And Aletsky as well, his form, I think we wrote him off at the beginning of the season, haven't we? So to see him coming good is great for Leeds, and the potential rebound Grease Lightning there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Our Reese, yes, absolutely. Matty Sale, I'll call him by his name now. He's a member. Matty Sale, Brodie Croft was immense on Friday. Sheer determination. Couldn't agree with you more. Thought Jez should have been in because he set up the try, and of course he got the drop goal. You're quite right. Yeah, you're quite right. Jez lit him very, very close. But I thought Deneve again, some really, really good moments from the young kid. Once more, it has to be said. There was, of course, the official squad that came out. This was it. Davis over Marshall, didn't see that. Wardle, didn't see that, I have to say. They put Litton in to theirs. Callum Watkins, I thought Watkins was decent. I really did. I did, but I thought Hadley was better. Again, Kalepi Sanginoa getting in. I mean, for me, Hadley had a far better game than Sanginoa. Sanginoa's been in great form, but on that one game for me, Dean Hadley was better. And again, Garcia, he was good. He was good for Catalan.
Yeah,
but
he had a good game.
He wasn't as good as Minchella.
No, Minchella was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Garcia's a great player. And again, another one that was linked with Lee at one point this season. I think ours is probably a bit more reflective of who actually were the top performers this week.
Well, as we always do every week, we've got time. Let's all laugh at the Goldthorpe. Let's all laugh at the Man of Steel. Starting with the Goldthorpe, 2 points went to Oliver Russell in the Huddersfield game, which, again, I didn't see.
He had a decent game, especially in the second half.
But I don't think he was two, mate.
No.
That surprised me. No. Kane Robb, not only did he get the Sky Man of the match, which I thought was scandalous, both the Man of Steel and the Goldthorpe gave him 2. I mean, didn't even get him the top 3. I mean, that for me was absolutely scandalous. Mickey McAlorum got a point at Catalan.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that one either in the Catalan game.
No, I didn't either.
Catalan had a couple better players than him, definitely. I think is it Romano, the centre?
Yeah, Romano the centre. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There seems to be a fascination at the moment with Joe Mellor at Salford. He got 3 points in both the Goldthorpe and the Man of Steel. Again, Joe had a good game. Was he man of the match? Nah, I'm sorry, but don't know where he's getting the 3 points for there. That was a bit of a surprise, I have to say. Ikavalu got a point as well in the Catalan game, which surprised me. But yeah, like I say, some odd decisions in there. But we're going to come to the league tables in a minute, and we'll have a chat around them in a minute. But before we do, we have now come to that part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Who was your player of the month in June? That's the question. This was the 1 to 13 that you were picking from. That's the side. You can't pick the subs because they're not good enough to start. So it's 1 to 13. Steph, who would you have as the player of the month for June if you were choosing?
It's hard to overlook SAS, isn't it? Just backing up consistency. But I'm gonna go with Minchella.
You're going for Elliot Minchella for the month?
Yes.
No surprises where Callum's going. He's going SASA in a month for Sundays. Paul Boardman, he's going the same way. Any more before we announce? Get him in the chat. Oh, hey, Beatty West didn't even listen to the instructions. He's gone Tom Amone. Clearly a lead fan. You know what I mean? The blinkers are on there. Sneed or SASA for Dawn Baker's proud Super League Raw member is our Dawn. She's been here since day one. Outstanding stuff. Bazza, Kingston, Big Herman for Billy Steed. And Bazza has gone Minchella. Between Minchella and SASA, he's going. AD West, he's apologising. It's not a problem. You're getting used to things, AD. Don't worry about it. It's great to have you, my friend. Bill Renix, he's gone Mark Sneed. Bazza Kingston, he's going to go. He's going to put his hat on Minchella. No bias there. John Wilkinson's gone Petter Hiku in the chat. They're all raining in now, all of these people. Right, we've given you your shout-outs. It's time to announce the Super League Raw Player of the Month for the month of June. Here it is.
Inside again, Reynolds, short pass, Esse.
We go to the left-hand side and Esse! The power and the pace and the try.
And this what makes Super League Raw what it is. Yes, he's only won one game in the 3, but in his position and as a player, as an individual, Herman Esse has been in 3 consecutive Super League Raw Team of the Months. His statistics are through the roof. 87 tackles as a prop forward in the month, 18 busts, 11 offloads, 56 carries for 415 metres. This man has lit up Super League in the forward positions. We love the hard grafting middles at Super League Raw. We believe he deserved to get more. The last few players of the month has been the likes of Josh Fulis. Adam Swift has been in there as a player of the month. You know, the outside backs, people who do the showboating. But this month, it's hard to look past Herman, especially, you know, this guy at the moment, Man of Steel, whatever you want to say, yeah, 3 months running, Steph. Team of the month. The consistency is incredible.
It is, and I'm kind of breathing a sigh of relief that I didn't mention him. So I have got a bit of credit there to say it was him or Minchella. So yeah, you'll probably tell me Minchella was nowhere near it now, but no, it's like you said earlier, it's Tom Amone stats, isn't it, from last year? You know, obviously Tom's had his injuries this year, so it's a bit different for him. But no, great to see some recognition for the people that win games. Like we said, they win them back decide by how many. So I don't think he would be the actual official player of the month, but you can see why we give it to him, and hopefully, you know, a lot of people in the chat were agreeing there, weren't they? There were a lot of us saying Esse, and you know, for consistency alone, to perform as a forward at that level consistently is a tough thing to do
in a poor team.
Deserved.
You know, they're getting better, but in a poor team. And I think that this is the difference, I think, between us. You know, people, there's no bias here. I mean, there's not. I mean, when I go on my travels, I mean, you bump into a lot of people who watch as I do. And they always say, the amount of people who say to me, I couldn't do what you do, Dave, because you don't have blinkers on. You call the game as the game. You know, and I do. And you know, it's too easy to look past Herman Esse. If Herman Esse this year was a Wigan player, a KR player, a Saints player, the whole league will be standing up and applauding him. But because he's at Hull FC, because of the whipping boys, because as a team they haven't performed, it's almost like people aren't spotting the quality of this man. He's come into our league, and his stats as a forward, they're unrivaled. He's been incredible in a poor side.
Absolutely, and the thing is, what people don't realise, and probably what a lot of the people who are voting on the actual official one, we actually watch every single game now, and it's the beauty of the sport now is that every game is on TV, and because me and you are rugby addicts, you know, we will watch every single game every week, and that's probably why, you know, the work that you put into it, and they actually going into the actual detail of each performance of every single player, for me, gives it a lot more credibility than some journals who do the Albert Goldthorpe and the Man of Steel.
Well, we're coming to that
reasons. So no, fully deserved. Well done, Herman. And it's a tough thing to do that in a team that's not setting the world on fire. Yeah. To have that consistency and to especially the way he started the season, because I don't think he started brilliantly. But he's just grown into the season and got consistently better and better and better.
Happy days indeed. And as you can see there, Billy is absolutely delighted. A big shout out to Bazza Kingston. He's going to be upgrading his membership, he's told me in the chat tonight. Well done, Bazza. That's what it's all about. Come on, you need to become a part of this community. It's the fastest growing community. It's a great community, the WhatsApp group. We are going to go to the Magic Weekend. We're going to go to the Magic Weekend as a family. We're going to have a bit of banter, a bit of laugh. It's going to be a really, really good weekend. We want you to be a part of it. It's only going one way, and that's up. Come on, become a part of it and make sure you get your tickets for that quiz. because that way you can come for free on the Saturday. Happy days.
He just wants to get in on the WhatsApp. That's what it is.
Everybody wants to
The
get
funniest
in.
WhatsApp group in WhatsApp's land, definitely.
It is a good crack. There's no doubt about it. Right. We now come to, of course, we're at round number 15. So what we do every 5 rounds is we dip into the medals tables. And as you know, this season, Super League Raw are doing a Super League Raw trophy. So there's the Albert Goldthorpe medal, there's the Man of Steel, and there's the Super League Raw trophy. Right. There's the points difference. When it comes up in a minute, you go, where's all them points come from? Right. We're doing it differently. For those who've only just started watching us, this is how we points go for us. In exactly the same way as the Goldthorpe and the Man of Steel, we select a 3-2-1 at the end of every game. That's what we do. However, to reward consistency and to try and get a little bit more, breadth into these league tables, what we've decided to do is for every player who becomes a part of Team of the Week, they get an extra point that week. For every player that gets in Team of the Month, they get an additional 2 points because they have been consistent over 3-4 rounds, however many games have been played in that month. And Herman SASA this month got an additional 3 points on top because he was the player of the comp in our eyes in the month of July. And it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out across the season. So with that said, let's now dip in to all 3, starting with the Albert Goldthorpe. Here we go.
After 15 rounds played in the Betfred Super League, it's time once again to check in on the 2024 Player of the Season Awards, starting with the Albert Goldthorpe Medal. Leading the chart is Mark Sneed of the Salford Red Devils with 23 points. He is 9 points clear of Bevan French in second with 14. The Steve Prescott Man of Steel. Mark Sneed once again holds top spot with 18 points, but just behind him is Mike Moylan of the Lee Leopards on 17. The Super League Raw Trophy. It's a clean sweep for Mark Sneed with 32 points, 6 points ahead of teammate Tim Lafay, who's on 26. These are the current league tables after 15 rounds of the Betfred Super League.
So there you go. That's how they're currently looking. We have actually awarded 146 players a point at least in 2024. 127 people have been given an Albert Goldthorpe point, and 123 have been given Man of Steel points. So let's go through each one, starting with, I think it's the Goldthorpe. So let's go into that. Is it the Goldthorpe? Here we go.
Yeah.
Wait for it to come up. For some reason, here we go. Yep, there's the Goldthorpe. So as you can see there, Mark Sneed, top of the Goldthorpe charts, is the top of them all. Then Bevan French, which at 14, which surprises me, Steph. I mean, we love French. French last year, you call him probably the only superstar we've got in the game over here, which you say that, not me. So don't start throwing pelters at me, people. That's something that Steph says all the time. I agree. He's a genuine superstar. But is Bevan French second to Mark Sneed in 2024 thus far?
He's not, but I'd also say he's not, 9 points off him there? It's a massive gap that for, and Sneed's been brilliant.
Yeah.
But this is where I think the scoring system falls down, because you can pretty much guarantee if Salford wins, Sneed's getting man of the match at the moment, which, is deserved in a lot of cases. But there's also been some top performers at Salford who've probably been unlucky not to get the maximum points there above him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Again, I'd even go as far as George Williams at Warrington, and this is it, for Williams to be joint third. I'm sorry, but no, I don't get it. I really, really don't. Just outside that, Tom Amone's also on 12 points, by the way, not on the graphic. 11 points for Croft, Tyrone May, and Matt Duffy, as far as the Goldthorpe is concerned. But like I say, really surprised to see Bevan French that high up this year. I have to say that. Okay, so let's go into the Man of Steel. Again, Mark Sneed. Then Matt Moylan, a point behind. Nene McDonald again is in there. You can see that. Mark Sneed, Nene McDonald, and Mikey Lewis are the only 3 players to be in all 3 league tables. So that's an interesting stat there. Duffy's in 2. But yeah, Nene McDonald is third, then Duffy, then Mikey Lewis. Matt Moylan, I like Matt Moylan. I think Matt Moylan's had a really, really good season. But is he a point off Mark Sneed on current after 15 rounds?
You could argue not, but from a league perspective, he has been our best player in at least 6 games. So on the current scoring system, I'm not surprised he's there.
Yeah. I just think, again, pretty surprising, but there you go. And then we get into the Super League Raw trophy table. And pleased to see Herman SAS. That's the difference that a Player of the Month award can do. He's stuck in now there at number 5 on 18. Sneed on ours, 32. Tim Lafine and Emmet Donald, those 3. And do you know what? I mean, that doesn't surprise me because those 3 have been outstanding for Salford. Absolutely outstanding. Dufty at 4th. Herman SA at 5th, but we're only halfway through, pretty much, just over halfway through. Sneed was getting really clawed back, but then, of course, got in Team of the Month again, which gave him another couple. And, of course, was in last week, but the week before. But yeah, there you go. That's how they're looking. But I mean, the thing is, at the moment, it's Mark Sneed and the rest. And I know what you're saying about if Salford win, then Sneed's the obvious contender, but Sneed is pretty much. I mean, if they lost Mark Sneed, they'd drop like a stone.
Yeah, it's the consistency thing, isn't it? So you can understand it, and he has been quality. For his goal kicking alone, But I think he's more than that this season. I think he's really, not upped his game, but he's just become like you said, a bit like the linchpin that holds everything together there, which is what you want out of E7. So it's no surprising that he is up there.
Your brother's disagreeing with you. He says that I think he's saying Matt Moreland shouldn't be up there. In his opinion, that's an interesting one.
I can easily revoke his membership.
Oh, legendary. Outstanding.
So he come back when he watches every game, he can come back and have an opinion.
Oh, the sibling right. I love it. Outstanding. But look, there you go. We will duck into that again at round 20. The only problem is, I think any time now, Man of Steel will stop being published, which again is disappointing. I don't like that the Man of Steel do that. I know they try and make it a surprise on the night, and I get that, but I think at times they pull the plug too early.
They're sick of you criticising them, Dave.
Probably, yeah. But I think at the moment, if the season stopped now, I don't think anybody would have any argument Sneed getting it, because I think he has pretty much almost single-handedly. Well, that's harsh, not single-handedly, but without his architecture, without his game smarts, I don't think Salford will be anywhere near the position that they're at.
Just look at how many tries come from his kicks in play, and his assists, his goal kicking. If ever there's a player that is, right up there of a team, you'd say it's Sneed at the moment, 100%.
Spot on. Dawn Baker, completely agree. Matt saying, as you're saying, best player for Lee, but shouldn't really be that high in the tables at this moment in time. Like I say, I think Moreland's having a really good debut season.
Yeah,
really
that's the thing with the scoring, though, isn't it? It goes off. It's not about the league. It's about how well you're playing for your team. That's the reason Sneed's there is because he's playing the best for his team every week, and rightly so. We do think he should be there as well. But if Moylan's playing great for Lee and he's getting man of the match for Lee every week, then he's going to be up there with Man of Steel because that's the point system.
Absolutely. Right, we've got time for a couple of questions. So if you've got a question based on Super League, whatever you want, bang it in the chat now. Me and Steph will quite happily answer a couple of questions that you might have to ask us during the course of it. Whilst you're thinking about any questions that you want to ask, we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. In the same spirit that Kieran, we'll have it all on to get Zach Eckersley out of centre at Wigan. Matt Pete's got, luckily, Field is out at the moment, so I can see Farriman remaining in the halves alongside Harry Smith.
Yeah,
I could see that. When Field comes back, there's a big decision on there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and I think for me, Farriman should be going to somewhere on loan. And not even a championship like a Super League side, maybe a Castleford, maybe a Hull FC. I think he would. Really benefit from that. But at the moment, obviously, with Field out, then it's his opportunity to shine and put himself in the shop window, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Right, we've got a couple of questions coming in. Let's start. We've got quite a few. Alex Sharp, quick one, just for fun because we can. What's your favourite tea bag? Don't know where he's coming from there. But what's your favourite tea bag for your brew, Steph?
Costa Coffee. Don't drink tea.
Doesn't drink tea. What's your favourite brand of homemade freeze-dried?
To be honest with you,
no, let me rephrase that. What do the servants bring you?
I have. You got to take the mick out of this. I have salted caramel latte.
Nothing salty about you, my friend. Right, like Greg Roach has gone in there. Favourite opponent's mascot and why, Steph?
You answer one first. Let me have a think.
Well, I mean, the problem is that my club arguably has the best one because, Wolfie is a god, an absolute god. I think any away fan, what he gets up to on social media, I'm a bit upset he doesn't show his bum anymore with his messages on. That seems to have gone by the by. But Wolfie's a character, an absolute character. If I was coming away from Wolfie, I like the Rhino. I do like the Rhino, I have to say, at Leeds. I think Saints is a shocker. I just don't know where that's coming from. St. Bernard. I mean, I get it, St. Bernard, but now I think I can't set to the Warrior. I can't. No. There's something quite sultry about yours. I'm not quite sure about that one yet. If I'm being honest, it's new one.
Fetish coming out there.
Yeah, a bit of fetish coming out there. The Bet Lynch. In terms of the Dragons, again, big head, isn't it? Big head. Yeah, I don't know about, but I feel like every time I see it, I'm like, big head. Is what I would say. But yeah, no, I you know what though? Just because I always liked Top Cat as a kid. I do like the Castleford one. Whenever I see that, I always think of Top Cat. Always
too cool for cats, Yeah. No, I do like Wolfie. I think some of the stuff he's got up to over the years has been. It reminded me of Lee used to have Parky Pig, and one of the greatest things that for us, he used to come in on a hovercraft at Hilton Park. Now that was genius. Some of the Lee fans will remember this very well. One of the best ones was when we played Huddersfield away. And he went down like he'd hurt his leg, and they got all the paramedics over and everything like that, and they were all standing for about 5 minutes, and he just got up and run off.
He was oinking around.
It's absolutely genius. I think the FC Radiator needs a shout out. He's hot stuff, isn't he? That's got to be up there with one of the shockers of the season.
I agree.
I'd say Wolfie, just because some of them can be really boring, and I like the social media aspect of Wolfie.
Well, Dawn Baker saying that she finds the Radiator class. So there you go. That's one there from Dawn. Right, where are we going to go next? We're going to go to AD West. AD's asking, do we think that Sam Burgess will stay at the Wire? I presume he's asking beyond his 2-year contract.
Yes, I think he will. I think if it, I don't know. It's tough, that one, isn't it? I want to say yes for the Wire fans, but 2 years is a long time in sport. Look at the thing is, it's a bit like the Adrian Lamb one, to use another league example, typically. But Lee did so well last season. The Jungle Drums started beating. We were very close to losing him this season. Who knows what's going to happen with Warrington? They've got the potential to kick on and do whatever. If they achieve a Challenge Cup or a Grand Final, then the NRL are definitely going to come knocking, aren't they? So I'd like to think he will.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. I mean, my take on it is, I think he will for 1 more year. I see Burgess staying for 3. I think because of the Wayne Bennett piece at the Souths, a 3-year contract. Obviously, his first will be next. So Wayne Bennett's second would be Sam's third, which means that when Bennett's final year of his contract, that's the decision moment. I think Bennett could actually leave Souths a year early because there is the rumour of the extra team coming into the NRL. And whenever that happens, the NRL always like Bennett to start like he has done at the Dolphins. So I could see that happening. But, there's only one way that Sam, for me, is going back as a Souths head coach. He has to have success in in the British comp. You know, a runner-up in the Challenge Cup, for me, he's not going to get him the South's job. I could be wrong when I say that, because one of his best mates is the Gladiator himself, but I think 3 years is what I would say. Callum Calver has come in. Who is our top 6 for the end of the season? And do we remember who we picked in the top 6? I remember mine. I said Wigan first, Saints second, Catalan third. That's not looking good now. I put Leeds at 4th. That ain't looking good now. Lee at 5th and Wire at 6th. So mine absolutely miles out from the start of the season. Steph, I think you had Leeds at 6th, Wire at 4th, Lee at 5th. Where did you have Cats? 3rd?
Yeah.
Saints second.
Oh, I had OKR. I think I had Catalan out of it, didn't I?
I can't remember, mate.
I'm sure I had OKR 3rd and
OKR
Saints 2nd, Wigan top.
Yeah, so your top 3 are looking good.
Yeah, I think apart from the Lee one, which I think will be replaced by Salford, then that's pretty much where I'd go.
These are great questions tonight, guys. It's like you've got used to the fact that you're asking us some questions at the end of the show. Craig Forford, another Super League War member. Thank you, Craig, for giving us a question. If they made Super League a 14-team comp, remember, here it comes again. I'm going to keep saying this to you, folk. Open your ears and open them really, really wide, because Uncle David is about to tell you what you need to do to make our league a 14-team comp. All money pretty much comes from Sky. What does Sky want? Bums on seats watching rugby league. Record all 6 games every week and press play on your way to work. You don't even have to watch them. You don't have to be like me and Steph and watch all 6. Just make Sky think you are. That's how you're going to make sure that Sky go a bit deeper in the pockets next time round. That gets us our 14-team comp. I'll tell you that every week until I'm blue in the face. Now, what Craig's saying is, bearing in mind Wakey will be coming up, which other 2 teams would you bring up and why? So I think what you're suggesting there is it's a straight swap Wakey for London. So who would the other 2 teams be? Because Steph had a go at me last time, I'll go first. I would give London one of them for the reasons I said earlier in the show. The only way we're going to get London, a team in London, and grow this sport nationally is by giving them a bit of dispensation in the same way that we did Catalan. And because they're actually generating this season crowds that actually aren't the lowest in Super League, I think you've got to, that's a great sign that there is a market down there. So, and let's be honest, had London had been told at the start of this season that if they finished 11th or higher, they would remain in Super League, they would have spent cap money and they'd have gone for it. So, the likes of FC and Castleford probably would have had a real tougher fight on their hands, is what I would say. So I would certainly say the Broncos. I think Castleford's position is very precarious. It's gone very quiet on the stadium again. We've had this time and time again from Castleford. Whenever grading or whenever anything like this happens, out comes the plans and the council say yeah, and then in litigation and red tape, it falls down. What I would say, and look, I love Castleford. If that stadium doesn't happen, Castleford cannot remain in Super League because it's just a farce. At the end of the day, the Castleford fans deserve, and Castleford fans, I'm saying this on your behalf, you deserve a far more modern stadium. Your loyalty, your support deserves a far more modern stadium. Would I take, if Warrington was still at Wilderspool, would I be saying the same thing? You bet you. You bet you. It's just not good enough in 2024 to have a stadium, regardless of its history and its imposing and the rest. It's got to be better. It's got to be better. So I'm going to presume that Casper's staying in. London, definitely. And then after that, there's this argument over Toulouse. I'd love a Cumbrian team. That's controversial. But, if I had a magic wand tomorrow, there will be a team Cumbria that Whitehaven and the likes fed into, and would have presence in a rugby league heartland. Because let me tell you now, if there was a Cumbrian team, they would generate really good attendances. They really, really would. So I think, rather than look too far afield like Toulouse, I think there's a ready-made market on our doorstep in Cumbria. Look how many great players come from Cumbria. That's what I would do. Steph?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on the Cumbria front, but the problem you've got there is it's a bit like asking Lee to merge with Salford.
No mergers, mate. Team Cumbria. All the others remain.
Yeah.
And they're like a feeder club.
Oh, sorry. Staff.
The staff have come in. Hey, child labour, shocking. No, Team Cumbria, mate. All the rest would remain, but they would feed into it.
Right. Okay. So it's a brand new
franchise in the way the Dolphins and the rest. Team Cumbria.
Where are they playing?
Well, they'd have to eventually, hopefully, get themselves a stadium, which again would take money. But if we want to grow the sport, like I say, it's a dream. This is a dream moment. If I could snap my fingers tomorrow, I could generate a stadium in just off the M6 in Cumbria, where Team Cumbria. For me, I'd do it tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I think in a hypothetical situation where that was achievable, then I'd be on board with it. Going on the current teams and everything like that, I would keep the same 12 that are in there at the moment, including London. I think given a 3-year, back to a bit like the licensing thing with London, they would recruit. They've got a fantastic owner there who's got money, who would, I'm sure, spend it if he knew they were, guaranteed to be there. So I would keep them in. I would promote Wakefield just because of what they've done this season, the resilience they've shown, the fan support in Championship, and they bought into the event as well. Some of the games that I've seen, they've done all the fireworks and the promotion, and they've got the right owner, it seems, there now. They're recruiting really well. So it's an absolute no-brainer to bring Wakefield back in as the 13th side. And just because I love the south of France so much, Toulouse is an unbelievable place, and the stadium they play at Stade Toulouse ground now as well. I don't know if people know that. So the Toulouse Rugby Union ground, which is a great facility, I think that's about 15,000 stadium, just off for the airport as well. You actually drive past it. But Toulouse it's like Perpignan on steroids. Toulouse is a massive city. Obviously, Airbus are based there, so there's lots of English pubs and stuff like that as well. And if you've never been to Toulouse, it's a brilliant city break, completely different from Perpignan, which is more of a holiday destination. And it'd be great to have that derby, that we had last year, and to see that grow. And there's TV's already there as well, so it should be very easy to set that up. So the long-winded answer there was Toulouse and Wakefield.
Yeah, well, do you know what? There's been a lot in there. Toulouse, Featherstone got a shout from John Wilson. Sorry, John. No, mate. No. Sheffield, yeah. Do you know what? Lovely complex Sheffield are building now. Unfortunately, it's the right size for Sheffield. It's not going to get them into Super League under IMG rules.
They won't get the crowd, Sheffield. That's the problem. Even in Super League. Even in Super League, they're not going to get the attendances, and it's a shame. It's a bit like York, isn't it? York's got a great facility there. I'd rather go for York than Sheffield, if I'm being honest. York's got the potential, to get some pretty decent crowds. Yeah. But when you throw, because they've never been in, Sheffield have been in Super League, haven't they? York have never done it, so the be able to promotion on that would be fantastic as well.
It would. Great questions this week, guys. Really, really appreciate you getting them in. Like I say, this will remain a part of the show for the long term. No prequel, of course, to round number 16. We expect the England game to be pretty straightforward. But hey, we still got a long showing for you. We've done loads of good quality stuff there. We hope you have enjoyed it. Right, guys, remember the July quiz, 2 tickets to Magic Saturday. You want to be a part of that. The link is in the chat before you go to bed tonight. Secure yourself those tickets. If you're not sure, go and watch the June one on YouTube. See how easy it was to join. Look at how it's played. Would you have beat Dawn? Come on, back yourself. Get yourself in the hat for those 2 tickets. Come and join the Super League Raw family at Magic Weekend. We would love to welcome you. Consider the membership. Baz Kingston tonight in the chat saying he's going to upgrade his. Ryan Birch upgraded his recently. Carrie upgraded hers recently. We've got even the members that are currently in who've picked a price point that suited them. They're enjoying it that much now that they're upgrading because they want more. They want more content. They want to become more a part of it in terms of the WhatsApp group, etc. And they see the value. Look at Dawn Kirkby there. She's won 2 quizzes out of 3. Somebody's got to take Dawn down, but well done to Dawn. And she's walked away with a signed rugby league, KR Rugby League ball, and she's gone away with £50 worth of England international merchandise. That's what we do here at Super League Raw. So come on, be a part of it. Before you go to bed tonight, get your tickets in Eventbrite. The link's in there. And also press the link for the membership. Go and have a look. And now, trust me, For me, if it was a choice, I'd join the membership, because by joining the membership, you get an invite to the quiz anyway. That's the ticket. But if you just want to come to July and see how you get on, go and book your ticket on Eventbrite for £5. Like I say, it's everything you need to know is in the chat. I've enjoyed your company, Steph. Just the two of us, as Will Smith once said.
Absolutely. And someone just made a great point in the thingy there. We never even did mention Bradford.
No.
Bradford,
Well, just on the topic of Bradford, I think it was either one of our members or somebody on the chat that was very scathing over Odsal and what's happened to Bradford. And, they're a long way off Super League. Yes, the name Bradford Bulls, what they did at the start of the Super League era. Yeah, we can all become quite, traditional, emotional about a time that had gone by. But in its present state, Bradford Bulls is not the Bradford Bulls that we remember.
There was talk not so long ago, though, about the levelling up money, using that to reinvest in Odsal. I think, I mean, that if ever you're going to chuck some money at a club, to think it, Bullmania, 20,000 on revamping that state, and in the stadium owned by the RFL now as well, it's some dodgy thing.
Well, mate, that's a whole different show. But look,
anyway, but I will give Bradford a mention though in it, and if talking about hypotheticals, where we were saying about the Cumbria thing. If I was an investor and I had 100 million quid to chuck at rugby league club, then I would 100% go to Bradford, because that's where you're going to get return on investment. If you bring them back from the where they are now to a decent stadium, you've got a guaranteed fan base that are going to come back in Super League.
Well, like I say, that'll rumble on and on and on. But ladies and gentlemen, that's been another Super League Raw Weekly. You know what you need to go and do now. But before you go and do that, we're going to do you the top performers after 15 rounds. We will be back next week for more Super League Raw Weekly. Don't forget the Final Whistle podcast. That will return this week. No, we'll talk a little bit about the England International, but we'll find something else to talk about for an hour, I'm sure, with the Fans Forum. So make sure you see that. And before we go as well, some of you have been asking about In Conversation. They're like buses, they all come at once. I can tell you that this week, Josh Griffin, formerly of Hull FC, now at Wakefield Trinity, he'll be sitting down with me for an In Conversation. We've got Gary Chambers, the Warrington Wolves Director of Rugby. He's lined up. Matt Peat, Wigan Warriors, he's lined up as well, as is Alex Walmsley. We've got some really good In Conversations coming down the pipe. You've just got to be a bit patient because, like I say, they all tend to come at once, but they are still on the way. We're going to end with the top performers for round number 15. Make sure you get your tickets, consider the membership. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, usual time, 8 p.m. That's right, it'll be next Tuesday, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter. Enjoy the international break. We'll see you next week.
Can't be a bit weekly.
Here are your top performers after 15 rounds of the Betfred Super League. Still leading the try-scoring chart is Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors with 16. The most try assists have come from Mark Sneed of the Salford Red Devils with 17. Whilst the most meters made continues to be Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves with 2,755. The most tackle busts have been made by Tim Lafayette of the Salford Red Devils with 118. Whilst the most clean breaks have once again come from Liam Marshall with 80. The most offloads in Super League is Akeem Maludi with 34 for the London Broncos. Whilst the most hard meters made, you've got to be a prop forward, second row loose forward in this one, is Reece Martin of the Leeds Rhinos with 1,601. The most tackles have been made by Leeds Rhinos captain Cameron Smith with 595. And once again, Mark Sneed leads the goal-kicking charts with 50. Mark Percival just one behind on 49. These are your top performers after 15 rounds of the Betfred Super League.